The more that we watch DSP in 2023, it just baffles me that a lot of things that are coming out more and more are things about his past. Take, for example, the business cards that someone mentioned to him and that he immediately tried to retcon it, trying to say that no, some idiot photoshopped my address onto these business cards, even though there's evidence of him actually doing so. So it just really baffles me that he's going back to his past, like almost to his past roots, and just retconning everything, while still being the toxic little shit that he is. Yesterday, he started doing his podcast, and someone asked him a question. The question being, what about the giveaways? Why don't you just do giveaways? He said that the reason why is because he's not a millionaire. You don't have to be rich to do giveaways, Phil.
From the Dan Man, he tipped me $1, says, being that the community has given you so much and allows you to live the life you have, this is all completely true. Have you ever thought about giving back with like a giveaway or a signed art piece? Well, here's the thing.
Okay, so before he answers this question, no, it's not true, Phil. The only reason why your community is actually surviving as much as it did is because it's on life support by 4 to 5 people that wail out and give you money. Your community that gives you like $1, $5, maybe 10 every single time, those are the ones that don't even matter. What you tend to look at is the ones that give you the $1,000, the $150, the $50, the $100, the $30. You look at the bigger donations. Did they really help you out? Because you're still the toxic little shit that you once were.
I've done those in the past, and this was a long time ago, by the way. But
yeah, we remember. Trust me, anyone that has followed your shitty little content remembers.
I used to do something that was called the Hardcore Gaming Season Giveaway. For the entire fall gaming season, once a week, I would do a big giveaway, whether it was a game or collectibles or a shirt or whatever. I would autograph the items. Like, I used to do this all the time, but this is back when I was much more popular and there wasn't a toxic cloud of assholes following me around.
Phil, you still had those people that were following you around that did not like you. Everybody has that on the internet. But also, going back to his whole giveaway things, the one thing that he forgets to mention is that most of the games that he gave away, there were no games with them. It was just like the collectible items. And he made the excuse that people wanted that. They wanted my autograph on something. They wanted this shit, and they didn't care. When in reality, Phil, they did care. You just didn't want to address it.
Also, just to give you some perspective, when I used to do it, it's not easy to do, and it's very expensive.
Depends on what you're giving away, Phil. It's not like you're going like Mr. Beast mode and just giving away Bugattis and Lamborghinis. It's not like you're doing that shit. It doesn't matter what you're giving away as long as you have items to give away. Like, say, for example, I could hold up one which is, hey, I'm holding a giveaway for Diablo 4. I'm holding a giveaway for Street Fighter 6. It all depends on how you do it. If people like you, they do not care how much money you have to spend on it. But in your case, it's like, I'm not rich anymore. I can't do that. Yeah, it was very expensive.
For example, there were times when I would have like a game, just a game. Okay, I beat the game.
No, not the game. The game box.
I'm going to sign it and send it to someone. The game's value would be like $20. It would cost like $60 to mail it because my viewers are international. I got to mail it to Europe, $60.
Well, Jesus Christ, it's like you have fans that are international, so you have to do that. Unless you can make the contest national only. You can only do contests for the United States, Phil. It's not that hard, but you wanted to be like the big generous guy and do it all international, which, in reality, Phil, you don't really have fans internationally. At least you don't have them anymore.
What the hell? Right?
Well, then again, he doesn't know anything about postal shippings. He doesn't know that if you want to send it over across the state or across the country, it will cost you a lot more money.
T-shirts, that's the worst. Because a T-shirt, you could argue, what's the value of a T-shirt? Anywhere from $5 to $15?
Nope, depends on where you get it from, Phil. There are a lot of places that I've seen where it's cost $20, $30 a shirt. But you want to make it low just because you're like, oh, mine are cheaply made. No, Phil, someone else made you those shirts. You just don't want to give them credit. You want to take all the credit.
There's T-shirts that cost $35 to mail, you know?
Yeah, it's called shipping. It's a thing, Phil.
And now it's just worse, because now with inflation and everything, things have just gotten even worse.
Now it's gotten worse. Now it's gotten to be a problem. If it's not benefiting you, if it's benefiting you, doesn't matter. I'm still making money. But if it doesn't benefit you, oh my god, inflation! Oh my god, I don't have that money!
Ultimately, giveaways work if you basically are a ginormous content creator and have unlimited funds and it's not a big deal.
Disagree, Phil. I've seen people that don't have a million fucking subscribers and they don't have a lot of money and they still do giveaways because they give a shit about their community and they give a shit about their fans. You clearly don't. Everyone keeps saying it. The only reason why you have them around is because you need money and they're essentially your bailout when they wail out.
For someone like me, if I'm streaming and I got a really good streaming day, oh, it's a good day. I mean, hit my tips goals and whatever. But I'm doing a giveaway and I'm giving away, I have to pay $100 of shipping. It's kind of counterproductive. You understand?
Not really, Phil. You could do things like game giveaways where it's digital. It's not that fucking hard, Phil. Why is it you gotta think that everything has to be physical? It could be digital, Phil. Hey, you're gonna do one for Diablo 4? Okay, I'll give you a digital copy. Your choice. But you don't want to think about that at all.
On the top of that, I don't really have anything to give away. Back in the day, I used to buy physical games. I used to do that stuff. I don't do that anymore.
No, because you went digitally and you don't want to leave your fucking house because you're a fucking hermit.
Everything I do is digital. At one point, I used to be nice and be like, oh, I'll give away collectibles. Like, for example, I would buy the collector's edition of a game, and I would have all the art, book stuff, the soundtrack, all the stuff, and I would sign it and send it, and people started making fun of me. Oh, see, Phil gives away empty boxes.
Yes, you did! You gave away the empty game boxes. There's no game that comes with those collector's items, Phil. It's just everything else. Phil, nobody wants everything else unless they have the game with it. No game, what's the point?
And I'm like, it's funny that idiots say nasty stuff like that, because I've given away consoles. At the launch of PS4, I bought and gave away a PS4.
Actually, I'm gonna deny that, Phil. You bought a PS4, and it was gonna be Leanna's. Leanna did not want it. That's why you gave it away, because you're like, I have this extra console. I don't want to do anything with it. I'm going to hold a giveaway. Pretend that I'm such a nice guy. That's really what happened, Phil.
To a fan, I've given away so many things over those years when I was doing it. And what's the one thing that people say? Oh, Phil gives away empty boxes.
Which you do. You've done that. Even though when you're giving away the boxes, you've even said, I sold the disc to get more games. Because you didn't want the game. You wanted to sell it because you wanted to get through it as quickly as fucking possible. Hey, but you kept the collector's stuff, Phil. I don't know why. You should have just given that away, too.
So you know what? I'll be honest. When basically the public opinion turned against me for nonsensical, stupid reasons, and people started saying shit like that, to me, it made me feel like, why bother? Because no matter what I do, people are just gonna shit on it anyway.
So Phil is offended by a joke. They use the empty games boxes now as a joke. It's a meme. So he gets offended by that. Phil, you could turn that around easy. You can make you do like a comeback, be like, yeah, I did that, but people still thanked me for it. But no. Everyone else is an asshole but you. Everyone else made fun of me, even though I make fun of everybody else. He's hypocritical. He's very... He's very self-centered and very paranoid and very insecure.
So if everyone's just going to constantly shit on you, then just do content that's good and everyone enjoys.
Yeah, but nowadays you don't do content that everyone enjoys and that only you want. But you only make content to make money.
And don't worry so much about the outside of the box extra shit, because people are just going to crap on it, and what's the point?
I've had people shit on my videos. I have people shitting on me for the videos I made in the past, Phil. You know what I do with it? I improve from it. I find ways to make myself better. You don't. You just sit there and go, oh, they said give away empty game boxes. That's it. I'm not doing that anymore. Everyone else is an asshole. Phil, you could improve from that. But it's clear as fucking day. You do not want to improve yourself. You do not want to change. You don't want to make yourself a better person because you have no aspirations to be bigger right now. Even though you could if you chose to change your perspectives.
Right? Right? I'd much rather put all my efforts into putting out as much content as I can for you guys in a week than worrying about having to take time away from that content to do giveaways and special contests that people will just shit on and say they're horrible anyway.
Well, they're going to shit on your content either or because of the way that you act. It's your actions on the internet that really shows. It shines more. It makes you look like an asshole. but you don't want to do any of that anymore. And you also don't want to do any research of how to give games away. But at the same time, as long as you're making someone's day better, you should be happy about it. But no, you think that that's an obligation to do for your fans.
So that's really why I don't do it anymore. Just being honest. You know, every once in a while.
No, you just got selfish, so you decided not to do it for everyone else anymore. If it's not about yourself, what's the point?
Someone will give me something and say, hey, here, Phil, here's a digital code. Give it away to your viewers. Sure, why not? And I'll do it. But
he won't do it. He'll keep it for himself, depending on what it is.
I just don't see the point of doing those kind of things when there's already such a toxic association. Everything you do is shit, according to certain people.
Even though you've done that your own fucking self without our involvement, thank you. Even though there's a lot of things that he said throughout his podcast, that was the one main focus I wanted to discuss, due to the fact that he seems to think that, oh, you need to be rich to do giveaways when you don't really have to. It's the thought that counts, and if you truly care about your fans, you can do whatever you want with your fans, as long as it makes you happy and it makes your fans happy. Phil doesn't want to make his fans happy. Instead, he wants it to make it all about himself. But again, he was done with his podcast, and then he went on to play Street Fighter 6, and he still gets decimated very, 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 very much. So you know, the funny thing is that Ryu is actually really good at doing that. He can attack you with a few moves and throw you. He can do that with relative ease, but I don't think Phil gets it, even though he does it himself.
Now I can't get through anything he does with jabs. Jabs beats everything.
No, Phil, it wasn't a jab that did it. You tried to use a drive impact move, and he stopped it with a throw. That is a smart thing on that Ryu. See? He didn't throw you, so you got a drive impact move on it.
Oh my god, every time he just jump over everything I do.
Well, then again, Phil, you're not doing anything about it.
He's just guessing and getting jumps.
Guessing. You claim that he's guessing. Phil, you're guessing what they're gonna do. Your opponent's not.
No up ball, well, I'm done. No up ball, game over. Yep. That's it, level 3.
And you did nothing to block that, Phil. That's the thing with you. If you can't pull off a move or two, you give up. My god, it would be fun to actually fight you. Like, in real, I can just imagine that. You're trying to throw a punch. Oh, what? You missed my attack. Fuck this, I'm done. Jesus Christ.
So I completely blew it. The second round is my, or the first round was my fault. Second round, when I did the stupid throw thing, it was a command. It's not, or a command throw. It's not. Like, it's not a throw.
So it's still your fault, either or. Just take the L and move on.
And then this round, I couldn't block any. He got lucky jumps over everything I did, and my up balls were whiffing. I don't know.
Phil, you're being a John right now.
And block. I did my command throw. His throw beats my command throw. He threw right through it.
Phil, you weren't quick enough.
Wow. Regular throw, too. Didn't do that. I did my ball. It didn't come out. Now I lost all that health. I didn't screw up. It just fucked up and didn't do the right move. Wow. Come on.
Not gonna lie, whoever played that E-Honda, nice combos.
That pisses me off.
How does that piss you off? That they actually got you with a combo, then did a level 3 super? That's actually pretty good on their part. Why don't you compliment your fucking the players that are fighting against you? Oh, right, no. If they're better than you, they're scrubs. But if you're scrubbing and you're just kicking their ass, you're better than them. Phil, your fighting game logic, it makes zero fucking sense.
That really pisses me off.
And with that, he got missiled by E-Honda.
Had lots of opportunities to beat him. I dropped a lot of stuff. Lots of opportunities to win.
Phil, you had no opportunities with that fight. If you did have an opportunity, you would train against that opponent's character. But did you? Nah.
No, I don't want sweep.
Yes, you did. You wanted sweep, but you didn't calculate it. So you know what? This person is shaping your story a lot.
I didn't want sweep. I wanted standing.
Sure you did, Phil. Sure you did.
What the hell? No, I don't want that. I keep getting the wrong moves.
Phil, that would have gone through your move anyway. God, did you forget how Zangief plays?
I don't want that, man. That pisses me off. Oh.
You see how whiny he is? Yeah, even slowed down, he's still a whiny little bitch.
Literally, he can just mash P60s and throws from that range and get crazy punishes when you're getting a move you don't want. God damn it.
Even though that you spammed EX throws with Lily and you got wins out of it, even though you're not learning the character, you're only learning certain patterns that you can exploit.
Oh, come on. Random jump, and he gets punishes because he jumped randomly. Look at the fucking damage.
Yeah, Zangief is that good. He is very good. Same with Marisa. She is very good when it comes to getting good damage like that. Even Manon does that with her throws. But I don't think he'll ever realize that or figure it out. Even though he's a Street Fighter fan, by the way.
The trade now. Come on. The trade is in his favor always.
Well, then again, do you know what a trade is, Phil? You both took damage, but he beat you because you had low health.
Neutral jump 360. Oh my god.
His standing medium beats my normals. It beat everything from mid-range. Wow.
Phil, you weren't even blocking. You were attacking, and he got you. He saw an opening, and he took it. My god, Phil. Even me, someone that's not really a big fan of fighting games, knows this shit more than you do.
This sucks. Stuff I don't know, you know? His standing medium punch beat me from mid-range.
I thought you knew the old Street Fighter characters like Zangief. I thought you knew this, Phil, but my god, it's like I keep saying, you don't retain any information that you have. Instead, you want to create more information that's non-existent.
Clean.
Okay, somewhat I do remember this fight, and oh boy.
She was
Safe. I couldn't do that. See, after that move, she's completely safe. You wouldn't think so, but if she has the wing buff on her, she is. So she does that, you can't do anything. You're stuck in place and just have to block.
Phil, I thought you liked Lily for that shit alone, but if someone else uses Lily and do the same move that you use against them, then all of a sudden Lily's a shitty character.
Afterwards.
Dude, come on, what the fuck?
You're trying to attack, and you're getting pretty much destroyed by them, because you're not blocking.
Everything just hits me in a row. I'm not even doing anything.
You weren't blocking, you were using the attacks. Because the attack animation was going through, Lily took the opportunity to beat your ass.
I'm getting pissed that I'm just getting hit by random moves in a row. I'm not attacking or doing anything, just hit.
Phil, you jumped over Lily and you tried to go for an attack and she kicked your ass. Phil, just take the L and move on.
Not doing anything to be open. So
Even though you were open.
why am I getting hit 7 counter hits in a row for giant damage? It fucking pisses me off.
Yes, clear as day that you have no idea what it's like to be humbled. Learn from this. Take this as a learning experience.
Jesus, through everything, man. Level 1 super. Oh my god! Nervous much?
Yeah, this is what I remembered. I remembered he actually finally won.
Nervous much?
You see, as soon as he wins, he starts becoming a sore winner. Saying that nervous much is like, Phil, they got a little bit cocky. Just don't be like that.
Out random super over and over.
Just the problem is I'm not expecting people to play like that, and they all do. Like, they're all playing completely unsafe stuff online, which normally you wouldn't do in a game like this, but they all just reckless abandon, throw everything out, random reversal, random EX, random reversal, like, oh my god.
Phil, you do the exact same shit. Lily, throwing EX throws, random supers, random throws. You've done this with every single character you have played with. You've done it in the beta and you're doing it now. But now, as soon as someone else does it and they're actually being timed, like they're timed it perfectly with it, all of a sudden the character is shitty and that the person you're fighting against is a scrub. You're the one that's being the massive scrub and you're just projecting your scrubdom onto other people.
I'm just not explaining or not expecting that, you know?
Also, Phil, different opponents that you fight have different play styles. They play the character different to what you play them. You don't know what's going to happen. It's always going to be different from one player to another.
What? It's bullshit. It
Nope, that wasn't bullshit. That was actually done really well in that Ryu.
dropped my move. It's complete bullshit.
Also, Phil, you were stunned, so you couldn't really do anything. And by the time you weren't stunned, there was nothing you could do. You were pressing buttons. But either or, he still won this fight. I actually remember this one too. He just got really fucking arrogant when it comes to this.
Oh, they quit. They didn't want a second match. They quit after the first one. Wow.
Yeah, because that Manon wasn't knowing what they were doing, and apparently you were being very spammy.
Wow. They didn't like that. They definitely didn't like that.
Yeah, it's always you're the better player when they're trying to learn a character. Phil, don't you realize that a lot of people, they fight one person and they quit? They just want to try to find another match. Oh, I'm going to be so ready.
What? Yep, jump right into the anti-air. Thank you very much, Ken. Thank you so much for that win.
Yeah, Phil, just compliment the player for using moves. Just compliment that they made a good move, but instead it's always going to be, oh, no, I'm better than you. You need to quit playing video games.
Oh, I did it too early? Seriously? Come on! Oh. Stuff.
I mean, I'll give that kid a lot of credit there. At least they timed it well.
Doing my anti-air now. Unbelievable. He just keeps doing jumping fierce punch and it's stuffing my overhead over and over. Or my overhead, my anti-air over and over.
Hey, give this kid a lot of credit, though. That was actually beautifully timed. Honestly, it was. But you don't want that. You don't want to praise other players for doing good in a match. No, you want to shit on them for no random reason.
Unreal. What happened? I don't know what's going on. My moves aren't coming out. Just 3 in a row. 3 fucking moves in a row. Come on.
Then, see what I mean? He doesn't retain any information about it. But then again, Phil, these are modernized versions of these characters. Learn them. Go to the lab. Go to Battle Hub. Learn. But you don't want to. Instead, you just think that you know everything about this game when you really don't.
Dude, I'm getting angry now. No ball. Come on. 4 dropped moves this round.
And yet, that's Capcom's fault. And there he goes. He's starting to spam certain moves.
Dude, I give up. I can't get any moves out.
Phil, you gotta move out. The only reason why you didn't hit anything is because they dodged it.
I'm blocking.
Let's go back. Let's find that out. Nope, you weren't blocking. There was no block animation at all. You just stood there and took it. Yeah. So, he does this every single time. Like, if he quote-unquote blocks, he'll claim that he's blocking when he wasn't.
I'm blocking. I'm fucking blocking. And it hit me. I was blocking.
Dude, I was blocking that. Nothing I can do. Man, I wish I had a soundboard just filled with DSP-isms. I really want to at this point. Huh, so the moves weren't coming out, huh? What was that then, Phil? The move came out in your favor then?
He's literally playing a pattern. Why is it beating everything I do?
Phil, you also play certain patterns. You try using certain moves and ball. You do it with every single character, Phil. You find a pattern to exploit, you use said pattern, you try to win with that pattern, and sometimes you do and they quit, or they rematch you, find your patterns, and they exploit that. They find ways to get through it. But, like, what more can I really say about that?
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
No, Phil. There's no kidding around there. They got you with the drive impact and a combo. They got you. Just accept the loss.
That combo doesn't work from that range.
Yes, it does.
Oh my god. That's the combo, medium. Okay.
Listen to what Ken just told you. Pay fucking attention.
Of course, that's what I wanted. Fuck this.
Good. Let the salt flow through you.
Yeah, I totally didn't want the fucking drive reversal out of block. I wanted fucking drive impact. Dude, I hate this. It's basically pattern play and it beats me.
Phil, you do the exact same thing. Stop projecting what you do onto other people. They found your openings, they took it, won, take the L, be humbled, cope, seethe, mold, and move on.
I don't know spacing. So because I don't know the spacing, the crap he's doing is winning, and he's not good at all.
Phil, he outplayed you. That kid knew what he was doing. He beat you. Compliment the fucking player, Phil. You want to be a good player? You want to be better? Compliment them. Stop being toxic and compliment the player. They did good moves. Just say, hey, that was a good move. You do this a lot. If you're winning and yet they beat you with a certain move, then you say good move. But you stop doing that now because it always has to be about your wins.
He's not. He's playing a pattern. And I can't beat the pattern because I don't have enough experience yet. And it drives me bonkers.
Phil, I thought you said you had fighting game experience. I thought you knew the fundamentals.
To lose to people like that. It really does.
Phil, just take the loss and move on. Just be like, okay, I got beaten. I need to learn. But instead, it's always, you know better than everyone else that they're being scrubs, that they're doing Hail Marys, they're doing all these moves that shouldn't be in effect, and yet somehow you're the better player. God, this is the reason why I love the Street Fighter matches that whenever you lose, because all that salt.
Salt. That's all I can taste is salt.
So after Phil went through those really great matches, he went on to play Diablo 4. Like I said before, whenever you play Diablo 4, it's incredibly boring. This case is going to be something incredibly different though, because what he tended to do here was explain himself to why nobody wants certain games and why he's not getting attention. But the reason why he does that is to try to stall to get more money. That's like one of his biggest things, that he always will stall to get extra money.
Which Ken do you think looks better, Street Fighter 6 or your cosplay?
Obviously Ken from Street Fighter 6. Why would anyone want to see Darkside Karen? I want to know why.
Now, do you really have to ask that question? Come on, man.
Yes, that question had to be asked, because honestly, Street Fighter 6 Ken is better.
Come on. What a ridiculous question. I'm not gonna grace it with an answer here tonight. X-Shooter, good evening.
You could just say you made a funny joke. Like, I'm going to give you another example of another streamer, Squeaks. He's a guy that he always gets joked on that he's being bold, and he plays off the joke. He does. Like, he'll look offended, but he plays it off. Why don't you be like that? Oh, right, no. You learn from all the other ones, and this is what they do. Yeah.
SC Charger says, my mom had allergy-related post-nasal drip. Earlier in the year, she got her nose cauterized. Her PND is 90% cleared. Insurance covered it. Huh, really? Cauterized. So they burned it on the inside? They actually, like, closed up the hole or whatever?
Phil, you are a fucking idiot. Sure, cauterizing is burning a wound to keep it shut, but that's not what they're talking about. There's a thing called chemical cautery, which essentially they spray your nose inside and it prevents anything from happening. But you seem to think that, oh, they burned the nose shut, so that way they sound like this? It's like, this is why we do research, Phil.
Is it confirmed that that is a surgery that will 100% work? Because
Phil, it's not really much of a surgery, though. That you just go in, see your doctor, and they spray your nose. And you have to go back every few months to get it resprayed again. So, it is a good method. You should do that, but you won't do it because you have no money. But then again, we kind of call bullshit on your post-nasal drip, though, because anytime you're in an interview or in a place where it's not your own channel, you turn that shit off immediately. Even though you mute the mic, you still do it, regardless. And the reason why you do snort into the camera is to piss off detractors, when in reality, it's become a meme at this point.
I heard that there is not a foolproof surgery at all for it.
Phil, it's not a surgery. It's an application that they could do. You can go to your doctor and ask for the chemical cautery. That way, they spray the inside of your nose. That way, you don't have to worry about post-nasal drip. What's so hard about that?
Argon wishes there was equal amount of content. He says, where is Zelda and Elden Ring? Well, Elden Ring's on hiatus. We're not coming back to Elden Ring for a long time. We got to play new releases before we go back to last year's release, right?
Phil, you brought that back for no reason at all, and people are still paying attention to it. They want Elden Ring back, even though I don't know why you brought it back in the first place. But in your reasoning, it was because of the DLC that's coming out, but nobody knows when that DLC is coming out.
Elden Ring essentially was a time killer, and now it'll come back later when things slow down.
So all the other games that you played, like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, as well as Final Fantasy V, those were time killers too, just to like lull the tide until Street Fighter 6 came out.
Zelda, I told you guys what was going to happen. I said when I start playing Street Fighter 6, I'm going to have to play a lot of it, and everyone's going to love it, and people are basically going to say, where is everything else? And I knew that would happen.
Yeah, you knew this would happen, yet people are still asking for it, even though you didn't really give a good explanation to why. But everyone else that tunes in and watches your content, they could see the reason why you dropped it. You weren't having fun with Tears of the Kingdom, and you had to do all this other shit that nobody knew about, supposedly, and you just dropped it because you weren't having fun with it.
And when do I have time for Zelda?
You have plenty of time for Zelda. Phil, you don't have a job.
Right now, there is no time for Zelda. Even this week, now people want me to react, do special reacts for Summer Games Fest, for the Xbox conference. Okay, but then there's less gameplay.
And it's still gaming related, Phil. It's not like you're going in there and reacting to clips on the internet that you'll just skip.
And this is what's happening is I knew this would happen this month. I absolutely knew there was so much going on this month that we were going to be pressed for time, and there's going to be people who want certain games and don't get them. And I can't really help that. You know what I mean? Like,
because you didn't explain fully of why you're dropping it, though. Even though you said that you did, saying that Street Fighter 6 and Diablo 4 are coming out, but you still didn't give a good explanation, and people will still keep asking for it.
I'm doing my best to juggle as best I can, but I know there's going to be people who are disappointed. A lot of people are loving the Street Fighter 6. They want it to continue.
It depends on who's asking, though. Like, honestly, when you rage and you become incredibly salty, that's enjoyable. But all the other times, it's just you being a sore winner for no reason, just to be a dick.
If I let up on that, they'll be upset that there's not enough. And then I'm going to fall behind with the game and probably get my butt handed to me every time I play it.
You still get your ass handed to you every time you come back to playing it, because you're not practicing. You're not learning the game off stream, which if you did that, you might be better. But knowing you, you're not going to do that at all.
Yeah, I don't know. So people seem to be saying that this controller is loud or something. Like, I mean, it's a joystick. If you go to any tournament, that's exactly what you hear the entire tournament. You hear click, clack, clacking of the joysticks.
Yes, I will agree that people are hearing that, though, but the reason why people can hear it is because you're mashing it hard. You are hardcore slamming on the buttons. Every time you're losing a match, you keep doing it. That's the reason why people can hear it.
Remember, I used to live in I used to go to arcades. And every time we went to an arcade, all you would hear is joysticks and clacking of buttons. Like, it sounds like you guys just aren't used to it. You're so used to game pads, right?
Game pads, even though what you have is a fight pad. So people can hear that too. Like, I'll give you a good example. Here's a controller. You see, you hear it. You barely hear anything. But then I'll pull out this fight stick that I have right here, and they can hear it. So I get the point with that you're making with it, Phil. I can get your point with it. But the problem is that they're hearing you mashing on it in pure anger and salt. That's what they're hearing.
They don't know that what arcade sticks sound like. That's just natural that you're going to hear that.
Oh, so you're going to blame your audience for not knowing what a fight pad sounds like? Even though they tune on your streams when you're playing fighting games, they can hear it? But now it's more prevalent due to the fact that you're getting so upset with the game?
I received my first contribution of the night, $1.25 tip. I think you would like Marisa as a character. She's fun to play. Yeah, a lot of people are saying, where's Zangief? Why don't you try Marisa? What about Manon?
Manon. Not Manon.
Or Mana, or however the hell you say it. Manamana.
Manon.
I think her name is Manamana, actually.
And you're trying to make a joke that's not funny.
It's a lot of silent syllables because she's French. Manamana, right?
Even though a lot of people could say Marone, like Marone. God damn it, you're such a Marone right now.
But, no, like, I know. And that's the thing. A lot of people are like, why aren't you playing these characters? And I'm like, well, wait a minute. You understand I just played non-stop Street Fighter 6 all week long. People are complaining I'm not playing other games, but you're angry that I didn't play these characters. Like,
You did say that you want to play out characters you hadn't tried out yet, like Jamie, Manon, Marisa. You want to try all these new characters out, but you want to stick with the characters that you're familiar with. And then you want to try a new character like Lily. You tried all those characters, but not the ones that people want you to see. Because, granted, you might like Marisa. You never know. But you're not going to do that, though, because you're in your mind, you think what you're doing is better when you're not giving people what they want.
again, I wish at this week, I told you guys this month was bad. I knew it. You can't have a new hot fighting game, a huge RPG, another huge RPG, back to back to back like that. It's terrible release timing.
I thought June was going to be a really good month for you due to the fact that you're playing Street Fighter 6, Diablo 4, and soon Final Fantasy 16. I thought that was great news, Phil. What changed?
These companies do not look at the landscape and say, what's the best release timing for our games? They really don't. And as a content creator like me who plays a variety, it's rough, man. It's really rough right now. I want to play Street Fighter 6 a lot, but now I got people pulling me in another direction. Now we got React stuff to do. But I can't please everyone. It is unfortunate.
Phil, that is the curse of the content creator. What you think might be good, a lot of other people might not think so. Why don't you come to a happy medium, as you say? Come to a compromise. Find something that might work. But in your case, it will never work because what you think is wrong, people might think is right, and vice versa. So you really have no idea what you're doing when it comes to this shit, Phil.
Unless I were able to clone myself, which I can't. Good evening, Brianna.
Oh god, 2 DSPs, double the pig roach, double the salt.
Good to see you. Yeah, there's other...
Also, you might be able to play again, like have multiplayer, and actually just play with yourself. Oh, the terrible thought.
Other conferences too, Slayer. I think Capcom has a half-an-hour presentation, and I think Ubisoft also has a presentation. I think they're both Monday. I could be wrong. But the thing is, there's so much I can't do them all. It's too much, man. I can't...
Yes, you can, Phil. You could do them. You just don't have the patience or the timing for it.
React to every single one. It's just wild. There's so much going on. Well,
There's just so much going on. Diablo 4, Street Fighter 6, soon Final Fantasy 16. These game devs don't know what they're doing when it comes to release dates.
Here's exactly what I knew was going to happen. I said, if I play Street Fighter and I play Diablo, when are we going to play Zelda? And if I try to play it, people are going to complain. You know?
Then again, Phil, you'll always complain about Tears of the Kingdom because Nintendo didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know jack shit. It's like, Phil, they didn't make the game to hold your hand like God of War Ragnarok. They did this thing where it's like, here's the tools that you need. Here's a world to explore. Go explore it. Go find secrets. But it's still going to be Nintendo's fault in your eyes.
I know. I knew this would happen.
Not really. You were actually excited for June to come out. And you were actually excited to play all these games coming out in June. But you didn't think of the consequences with it. You didn't have any plans for that.
And now the question is, when does Zelda even come back effectively? I don't know. I'm going to...
You might not bring it back at all.
Try to squeeze in some Zelda streams this next week, right? Yeah. Darth Glowbox says, thank goodness you finished Jedi Survivor and Final Fantasy V before these. Exactly. Those games would have been dead if I didn't finish them. I'm so happy I finished them last week.
Difference between Final Fantasy V and Jedi Survivor compared to Tears of the Kingdom is that Tears of the Kingdom is a very long game. You have to have a lot of time to play that. But Jedi Survivor and Final Fantasy V, not really. They're pretty short in comparison to Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, of course. Brucey says, of course your views have been good this weekend. Of course they've been good this weekend compared to Zelda.
It's because it's Street Fighter. The thing that with Phil, though, anytime he plays like Street Fighter or a new fighting game, he's going to get a lot of views on that. So he'll bring up the numbers games like, oh, I get a lot of views when I play this, but not a lot of views when I play this. Right.
And other ongoing games. I knew they would be. I absolutely knew they would be. Like I said, I like Nintendo games. They just don't perform well on my channels. They never have.
Then why'd you play it in the first place, Phil? It's clear as day you didn't like Tears of the Kingdom because you went on this story about how you didn't like Breath of the Wild and you liked Mario Odyssey more, and you made up that bullshit story about how game critics thought that Mario Odyssey was an 8 out of 10 when Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey were both equal when it came to scores. Like I said before, research.
It's been like over 10 years since I played a Nintendo game that did really well. Even the super hot ones don't do well. For whatever reason, the Nintendo viewers usually go and watch other Nintendo creators. You know what I mean? The people who are tending to know that they're known for that stuff.
I don't understand your logic with that, though, Phil. I've seen a lot of people that they cover like games like Tears of the Kingdom, even Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, Xenoblade 3. I've seen a lot of people cover them, and they're not Nintendo fans. They're mostly like RPG fans or variety content. The reason why they do better is because they're not a toxic piece of shit like you. How is it all of a sudden that they go to, you use that air quotes for Nintendo, like, content creators? Like, what's your logic behind that?
Can we game? I suppose we should. It is almost 7:15 indeed.
Yeah, that was another thing that I noticed too, is that he did this whole stalling. He was hoping that people would tip him money, like give him a big contribution. Then again, he does that to any stream. After he's done with the game or before he's trying to start the game, he stalls just to try to get a little bit of extra contributions. Oh god, not Diablo 4. He's boring when it comes to this.
Skeleton, take that.
Also, my god, his audio is terrible. Like, hold on, let's do this. I'm gonna go back.
Take that.
Like, did y'all not hear him at all? Like, I could just hear him playing the game. I could hear the lightning and the bone rattling. I could not hear him. Like, Phil, do you not do any research when it comes to this? Do you not ask your chat, hey, can you hear me, guys? Oh, no, I'm too low. Hold on, let me fix that. Turn the game audio down a little bit and then turn you up a little bit. Like, is that good? Phil, the difference to why most streamers out there, they do this, like, the 30 minutes where they're dicking around talking to people, they want to see how it sounds. If they're sounding good, if the game sounds good, and if they can hear both without any problems. How hard is it to do that, Phil?
You vile skeleton beast. Oh, what the hell was that? That was like a bone crossbow.
Yes, it was, Phil. Yes, it was.
Bony warriors, the power's in the marrow.
I actually would be like kind of like cringing at him singing, but I'm kind of glad that Diablo 4's audio was louder because I could barely understand what he was saying.
Bony warrior. Shocking.
And this is entertainment, supposedly.
Well, we can equip the other ring. Shadow resistance, poison resistance, critical strike damage. You can wear 2 rings in this game. That's right.
No shit. Just like in other Diablo games.
Why do I think interest waned quickly for Diablo? I literally just explained this thing. This game is going to be a lot of repetitive dungeon grinding. There's not much story to it. I know there's not. There will be a main story, but it's not going to be the focus of the game.
Even though there's plenty of story and lore with Diablo. But the reason why people aren't paying attention to you playing Diablo 4 is because you're not entertaining.
It's going to be me talking with you guys while I kill a million generic enemies. That's what Diablo is. So
sure, it's a dungeon crawl. Fine, I can give you that one. But a lot of people are actually interested in the lore and the story of Diablo 4. But you wanted to make up that story and that excuse that, oh, nobody cares about the story. Like how nobody cared about the story in Hades.
So if we treat it as a late night chill stream, it'll have some interest, but it's never going to be as much as like an action-packed competitive game like Street Fighter, just being honest.
Then again, different strokes for different folks, Phil. If you're a big RPG person, you'll see a lot of people discussing and actually playing Diablo 4. But in your case, though, you want to make up this big bullshit excuse that nobody cares about. They just want to see a big action game like Street Fighter. So going back to what I said before, different strokes, different folks.
Just like it's not is going to get the attention of a survival horror game or whatever. It's just a different style of game. This kind of game is not going to get crazy attention. I knew it wasn't from the get-go.
Then why'd you buy this game, Phil? I get it, it's a hot new release, but since it's not going to cater to what you like, why bother getting this game in the first place?
Which is why I asked you guys if you were sure you wanted me to play it. You know what I mean?
Even you, when you were going off about how IGN gave this game a 9 out of 10 for negatives being overpowering, but they still gave it a 9 out of 10, even you had thoughts if you want to get this game or not.
What's funny is I just had a troll in the chat, and they said, oh, you only interact with people when they contribute. What do you say to that?
Yes, you do. Anytime people give you money, you talk with the chat more and more. Or if you're doing the lean in manual ban, that's the only time you ever interact with your audience. So that troll was correct.
Well, let's see. Here's what I say to that. You ready? We haven't had a contribution in 15 minutes. Have I been completely silent?
Well, then again, Phil, this was a quote-unquote troll message. So you got fucking told off by that person. And you had to, like, be the bigger man and be like, oh, no, I'm interacting with y'all right now. Like, it took a troll message just for you to do this?
Right? Like, did I have my mouth closed, taped shut, because no one was contributing? Like, what are you talking about?
And you just banned that person. I could tell because you just leaned in to ban them. You know, just seeing Phil more and more, like when he does this shit, is just purely fascinating on my part, due to the fact that he'll come up with constant excuses to why he doesn't do anything, or why he's claiming to do something correct when it's showing on the screen that he's not. Like the whole thing with giveaways, though, it's not that hard to give away things, Phil. You don't have to be a millionaire with unlimited funds to do giveaways. You can always start off with a game, and then you can just move on to the next one. It's not that hard to do. But with Phil, though, he always will make up the excuse that he's not, like, making the money, even though he makes more money than the average worker in the United States alone. Also, when it comes to Street Fighter, how he doesn't know what he's doing, but yet he'll say that he knows what he's doing, and that everyone else is still a scrubby loser throwing out Hail Marys, when in reality, it's pot meeting kettle and calling it black, due to the fact that he does the exact same thing. With Diablo 4, on the other hand, before he started off saying that nobody has an interest for Zelda games, that it doesn't give any traction to his channel, he needs to understand that if you were actually entertaining Phil, then maybe, just maybe, you would have some traction. But no, it's sad that other people can take your content and actually become viral with it, as well as make a good tweet about it. It's really funny to think that you can't make any money off of YouTube videos from Nintendo games because you don't seem to get the fact that you're not entertaining. Same thing with Diablo 4. You don't care about the game, but yet you bought it anyway to try to get day one views. Philip, if you were actually entertaining, then maybe you would have a lot more views and attention that you already have, and not rely on Street Fighter 6 to get, like, traction to your channel. There's no more I can really say about it. We'll just end this off with the Phil prayer. Deliver us from the dents, deliver us from the pay pigs, deliver us from the pignosis. May we never become dented, and may we never become beggars like Darkside Phil. Amen.